This episode's brought to you by 6XD Gearbox. More on them later. Andrew, how would you describe yourself right now to somebody who is from outside of your world? What do you do?
I am a four-wheel off-road racer. Specialize in short course racing. It's kind of a tough discipline to describe. It's like motocross in a truck. Similar trucks to trophy trucks, Baja, stuff like that, but we're not carrying hundreds of gallons of fuel and spare tires. They're meant to race for 15, 20 minutes at a time, so lightweight and big horsepower. And I'm an engineer by trade, got a desk job that I like to kind of flex that side of my brain, and love tying that into the racing side, building cars. We do a lot, pretty much everything in-house on the trucks and UTVs. So, yeah, got a pretty good relationship with Polaris and been with them for a long time and kind of helping push the UTV industry as well. And, yeah.
So which one are you dedicating the most time to currently? Like between all those disciplines, when you're done with the day job and you go racing for the weekend, what are you racing?
The main focus is the truck.
Okay.
That's where the sponsors are coming on for that. And, that's where we're, moving the needle and trying to push. That's the pinnacle of the off-road racing is that Pro 4 class. So that's the big one. And I think I got onto the scene in four-wheel through the UTV side. Was like how I got into the whole thing. I think I'm one of the first, if not the second, guy to come from UTV racing and like go into the truck side. So, and it's funny because like as these vehicles progress, like the sport's allowing them, so like they're on, like on our track here, they're a second and a half slower than a 950 horsepower truck, which is crazy. I mean, 10 years ago they were golf carts, right? So I think that's constantly changing. The money, there's getting to be more money to be had in the UTV racing with more OEMs, and I think like we get more of that OEM support. Like I'm factory Polaris on the UTV side, and on the truck, like I'm not getting any love from Ford. It's just we got other sponsors obviously, but there's not a lot of manufacturing support. So
Interesting.
from like if you want to go race and not have to pay for it as much, right? Like the UTV is probably for one cheaper, and for two, like if you have the best sponsorship programs in the racing, like you can do it. You're probably still spending some money to do it, but it's way more affordable with the help of players.
Okay, so break it down then. So what does each individual kind of season look like? So if you're doing the truck stuff, how many races is that a year?
Yeah, so I mean the cool thing is they're at the same races, same time. So it's just another class. So I'll run both, and they'll be 2 races apart.
Okay.
So that's a piece of it is fun for me, is like a lot of the guys I'm racing against did it since they were 10 years old. I was kind of later in life, got into the 4-wheel side. So running 2 classes like helps me get more seat time and kind of adapt to the tracks. And it helps when I get in the truck, I know what the track's like. So, but yeah, I mean, the main show is the trucks, and a lot of the tracks are built and designed around the trucks, just from the size perspective and stuff. The UTVs are getting fast and they're right there. But yeah, some of the, like when we go to Crandon, that's like our Super Bowl, right? The big dog race. In a UTV, that's like some pretty long straightaways to just be wide open.
It's a pretty, like, what is it, like 1.7 miles or something like that? It's pretty sizable.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, like we don't get to run the whole track in the UTVs.
Gotcha. Okay.
And stuff like that. So, I think then you go to some of those tighter tracks and the UTVs fit perfect. So it kind of depends on which track. Like the Pro 4s are definitely something that like you never get out of, and you're like, oh, I drove it 100%. Like I pushed it to the limit. Like there's always more. And the UTV there's a limit, and it's fun because you can get there. You got to get after it. But like I can come off the track and be like, okay, that was the hardest I've ever pushed this car. And like, we were right there. So it's fun. It's different disciplines. I think they're both 4-wheel drive. Obviously that's the easiest part to kind of go back and forth between the two, but yeah, it's cool. It's cool to see from the driver perspective, like people's opinions of them. It's usually different from the fans' perspective. The UTVs are never as fun to watch. Just with open wheel, you just can't smash and bang and kind of get as aggressive with the Pro 4. It gets really aggressive. So from the fan side, it's more fun to watch.
It has been getting so much attention though. Like, and if we're looking like even in drag racing, you're starting to see like side-by-side drag racing. Like it's just ridiculous. Like the whole entire industry is like blowing up. I don't know. Do you have any idea why that is?
I think a piece of it is the barrier of entry is very low. Like for what you can buy, like anybody can walk into a dealership and buy a 260 horsepower Polaris Pro R that they probably have no use driving. Like they should not be in that vehicle because it is a handful. And like you can finance it. Like if your pocket's deep enough, like you can walk in, drop 50K on one and go do it. You put a tune in the thing, makes 300 horse, it'll pull the front wheels off. Now you slam it and put drag slicks on it, like it'll weigh 200 pounds, you know, and like be aggressive 4-wheel drive. Like it's not slipping. It's not like it's 4 wheels digging hard. So I think like it's probably why you're seeing some of it. I think there's like it has a lot more of the safety stuff in it, you know, like if I had to pick to go roll a 300 horsepower car or go roll a 300 horsepower UTV, you know, if I got ugly on the drag strip and got upside down, like stock, the UTV would be a lot easier to walk away from, right? They're coming with 6-point harnesses and all this stuff in them. So I think like that piece it's gotta factor in. And I think even like the Jeep crowd like hates them for the most part. Like when you go to Moab or some of these rock crawl places and you see a guy with a built Jeep, like, yeah, they drive it there, but then they'll go Billy Goat up something and like a bone stock car on 35s can do some pretty insane stuff on rocks. Like they climb really well. So like at a fraction of the cost, right? And like you tip it over, it's a couple plastic panels. Like you tip a Jeep over and
repaint the whole thing.
You're talking to Jake from State Farm. So it's like a different thing. So I think there's definitely places where it's like, you know, if you want to take one out at the cabin or go ice fishing and drive across the lake in one and have heat, like, yeah, you can buy a used Ford Ranger for way cheaper and probably have better heat and, you know, not bashing it, but it's like, but you want to like multi-purpose it and like go trail riding, go do some cool stuff in it. Like, I don't know. I think that's like the toy that like husbands are trying to convince their wives to let them buy.
Sure.
Right. Like if you can go blow cash on something, like I think, yeah, it'd be sweet to go buy a UTV, right? Like that's
go finance one.
You got the sweet truck already or this or that. Like, yeah. And I think the scene's growing like where you can drive them. I think that's probably in Minnesota, probably what's limiting it the most. Like the closer you get to the dunes or, you know, even out east, there's like Wisconsin alone has a lot more trails to go ride them on and stuff. So I think we would see it a lot bigger in Minnesota if like you could go ride them, but you need to have some acreage to kind of let some of the bigger ones like go rip around. But it's getting more accessible, more thing. But it's cool because it ties to the racing easier. It's like my Pro 4 looks like a truck, but there's nothing, you know, F-150 about it, right? Or Silverado. Like a few little components here and there, but like maybe like a sensor or something, but like that's it. So versus this is like it's all the same.
What was that experience like getting behind the wheel of one of those for the first time?
The truck. Yeah, I mean, I didn't go right into the Pro 4. There's some stepping stone classes. So Pro Lite is like a mid-size truck, 2-wheel drive.
Okay.
And I had done some circle track racing. So like, I think the power side isn't like terrifying or, vastly different than a lot of that other racing where you're running small blocks and, 400 or 500 horse, with the locked rear end. It's kind of has that same feeling, but the coolest part is like when you grit your teeth and like get mad and kind of push it, like it responds well. Whereas a lot of vehicles, like getting my kid into go-karting this summer, like 4-wheel, just asphalt stuff, just because he gets way more laps, than he does in some of the off-road racing. And I'm dabbling in it. And it's like, anytime I get mad, I just throw the anchor out and go slow, right? Because it's like, it just doesn't respond well. And you start pushing past the traction limit of the tire and all these things. And I think like in off-road, it doesn't do that. And that, to me, that was like one of the first things I noticed, because from the moto background, snowcross racing background, it's a lot of aggression that makes you faster, right?
Okay.
Like if you can harness that and like stay focused but like let it rip and to some extent kind of turn your brain off, and from the racecraft perspective, you still need to think, but like sometimes the thinking will make you let off and go slower. So I think that translates really well into the off-road. And that was like the funnest part for me. It was like finding something that I didn't have to relearn how to attack the racetrack in the vehicle. Like if I went from snow or motocross to, Miata racing or something like that, it's like, okay, like calm down, like be chill, do all these other things where it's like, I didn't have to do that. I would like, my biggest thing was like, okay, how is this thing going to jump? So I'm like, okay, if I strapped myself to my dirt bike and I hit a jump and it like, what would it do? Would it endo coming off the face, this or that? Okay. And if it did, like, what would I do to correct that? That all applied directly. So like, I didn't have a lot of experience in it, but I had tons of other experience in other things, especially being airborne and jumping and all this stuff. So the more I could relate it to the off-road, like the quicker I could pick it up. And I think we definitely turned some heads when we first got in, and like how quick we picked it up. And I think like in a lot of the other racing, I'd gotten to that professional level. I'd raced at X Games and all these big stages, and had been around and understood the mental side that it takes to like be consistent and win. And I think that helped me like understand how hard it can be to like relearn a bad habit. So I think like from the beginning, I was like wanted to make my habits the right way and like not have to learn it twice. Cause I think there's a couple of different schools of thought there where it's like some people are like, well, you just need to get used to it and drive it. And then like once you're at a certain point, then take coaching. Mm-hmm. And I think I look at it more of like, I do this with my kids, but it's like from day one of you riding, it's like not going fast, but doing the things right and then add speed, like where you look on the track and hand positioning, kind of how you apply throttle and brake. Like you have limited inputs, like those should be pretty dialed in, and then add speed. Because like if you can go semi fast, but you're doing it the wrong way, then you got to learn again. Mm-hmm. Like if you just mash the brake with your heel coming in and you can be fast, like the minute you get to the point where you have to master that braking to like get to the next step, like you have to go and relearn that. Mm-hmm. So I think that was a big piece, was just like being more mature mentally, and like then getting in it when I was a teenager, where you're just like, God, this is sweet. Like I'm just going to go wide open everywhere and, hit all this stuff. So, yeah.
What was the hardest thing to, I guess, learn as you were progressing through the stages? Or did it just kind of come to you naturally, or?
Yeah. I mean, there's times where it's like pieces of it I would pick up really quick, and then others would just take time. And it was like, that was frustrating. It's like, okay, am I plateauing? Like, did I hit my limit? Like, is this as fast as I'm going to get? And a lot of that was like, No, I just learned this other one quicker than I maybe should have. So kind of figuring that out. And then a piece of it is like still balancing that aggression level. Cause if everything's the same, then it's easy, but there's pieces of the 4-wheel where like you can't be as aggressive as you can in 2-wheel or snow.
Do you have an example?
Like passing.
Okay.
Like you gotta, like in moto and snowcross, if I can't see you, like I own the line, right? Like if I pass you, even if you're a half a car behind me or a half of a length behind me, if I can't see you, like fear takes over. And like, if that guy doesn't want to crash, he'll let off. And in when you get a cage, that doesn't exist like as much. So like if we're racing, and you can be on the go-kart track, if you're half a car behind me, like you're going to still run it in deep in the corner on me on the outside. It's just, I think you get more courage, and then the size of the vehicle and like how it's planted, like a little touch isn't going to send you off the track. So like, you kind of get ballsier in the 4-wheel sense, where you'll stick a nose in there, or it takes more to complete the pass. And, you know, in snow and moto, you can kind of bump into them, get them offline, and then just, you know, take off. And in off-road, it's like harder to run and hide too. So like you do that to a guy, well, then he's going to come in the next corner and bump you. It's just, you see it at like the go-kart track. It's like the easiest place. It's like you and your buddies are out there and like you smash them. Well, like you have that fear of like, I got to get going so they don't catch me and like punt me in the next corner. So I think there's a piece of that where it was just like, you got to think of it different. It's a little bit more chess than checkers in terms of how you attack a pass and like being aggressive. And like sometimes that aggressiveness can come back and get you if you're, you know, people don't forget it and stuff like that. So I think maybe early on bumped a few people a little too hard, and
like early on in your career.
Yeah. And just like didn't know that it looked that way until like maybe watching a video. I'm like, oh yeah, I used them up pretty good there. And that's pretty common in like the younger classes. It's just, I didn't learn it when I was 13. Right. So, but it was fun.
Is it pretty easy to ruin someone's race, or not really? Like, can you come back if somebody gives you a nasty bump? Or
yeah, I mean, it's more so like if you're just 10 out of 10 mad, like you can do some things that are out of line, right? Okay. Like you can drive in a way that would be frowned upon. Or in snowcross or motocross, it's like you have to have the ability. And not that you don't in off-road, but like you can mail it in on the bottom of the turn and kind of like diamond the turn and just go for the kill shot, right? Like in off-road, like if the traction is out wide, like everyone's running higher in the corner, like you can just go down the bottom and spear them if you want, right? And in snow and moto, it's like you see it with Deegan and some of these guys where they're like battling it out, and like half the time the guy trying to be dirty is laying in the dirt afterwards, because it's like just way more stuff that can go on. And I think they're just more nimble and like how you can kind of maneuver them, like kind of gets a little more cat and mouse. Where in the off-road, it's like it's a lot easier to be the cat. Like it's, if you're out front, like you can be on a tee at a lot of times. So I mean, it's good. I think there's a lot of good guys that run clean, and the mantra's kind of race people how you get raced. So when you see a bunch of carnage out there, like it's kind of the whole class will take it on. For the fans, I think some of them really like it, and like the purists kind of think it's dumb. And it kind of goes back and forth too. I think it depends if you're the hammer, the nail too. Like if you're getting beat on, like you're never happy about it. And if you're the guy giving the blows, you're like, oh man, the officials are just getting soft. Like they don't let us race anymore. So
see that all the time in basketball too. It's like, oh, basketball used to be way more intense back in the day, sort of deal. Yeah. When it comes to the actual racing side of things, sponsorship money aside, because we all know racing's expensive. When it comes to the actual in-race side of things, what's the hardest part about it? Is it the consumables? I mean, is it easy? Like between races, are you doing a lot of maintenance? What does that look like?
I would say labor is probably number one. Just it's a lot of work.
When you get to a certain level in a build, whether it be drag racing or drifting, road course, or just a badass street car, you'll have to upgrade your transmission. And when we're talking sequential transmissions, there's no one on the planet with a stronger gearbox than 6XD. And the proof is in the pudding here, folks. Half the FD field is rocking a 6XD, and even 3,000 horsepower Vipers have not been able to tame the best that 6XD has to offer. So if you're ready to take it up a notch, go to 6xdgearbox.com, and when contacting them to place an order, use code Minnoxide5, or reach out via socials to figure out how one of the baddest transmissions on the planet could fit in your build. Let's get back to the show.
Between races at a dirt track, like they can go right back out and race the next night, right? Like you can race 5 nights a week. We need 2 weeks between races. Like if you had ones back-to-back weekends, over half the trucks probably wouldn't show or wouldn't be able to finish. And then the other side of that coin is a lot of the parts are handmade. There's not part numbers. There's not a catalog. You don't go on Speedway and find these A-arms or the spindles or the drive shafts and a lot of these parts. On the Razors you do. Like you could drive the Razor in a week and go race it and be fine, but the trucks just need to be fully gone through. And a lot of these components, gearboxes, stuff like that, like you could chance it and just run it again, but you got to pull them out and check all the dogs and make sure everything's good. And like they take a lot of wear, and with 950 horse, like they will just rip themselves apart too. If you don't drive them nice, if you land and your tire's going 80 and the ground's going 60, like the tire's not going to break. Like something in
Sure.
between the crank and the axle will. Like, so a piece of it is like dialing in your program so the right piece breaks that I can go and replace semi affordably. You know, you don't want the crankshaft breaking or the main shaft and the trans or something. So it's like
all expensive components.
Yeah, like which piece do I want to fail if something had to fail?
What's your favorite thing to fail? It's like, oh, thank God, it was at least that.
Oh,
if you had to choose something.
Me? Like,
you?
The driver making I don't know. None of it's fun.
No. What do these things run for an engine? Or your truck in particular?
We run a RY45. So it's like the old Cup motor. Same engine like Von Gittin runs in his drift cars, stuff like that. Yeah, it's like a 430 some cubic inch V8. Yeah, it's all NA. So yeah, they used to run them in Cup. Roush Yates developed them.
Okay.
With that, and yeah, we used to run like the Ford D3 was kind of the predecessor to that. Mm-hmm. Lots of torque, just to spin all 4 wheels, and yeah, they get pretty grunty, and yeah, it's fun. We run like a 5-speed dog box in them.
Is it like a Sadev or something, or what is it?
X-Tract or Fortin. We run a Fortin.
Okay.
A lot of it is just so specialized for needs the 4-wheel drive output, and it's not like, I think the X-Tract stuff started out as similar boxes like they'd run in the Dallara like IndyCar stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And then everything just gets like beefed up, so they'll put like 300M shafts everywhere and clutches and certain things in spots to kind of save them. When you look at them, like they're pretty small, what I mean, compared to like a Turbo 400 or something like that.
Right.
But yeah, I mean there's some learning curve to it, right? Like how often you replace the gears and kind of
yeah, how often are you?
You can be good on them, or some drivers are really bad on them. I think my moto background, like I always had to work on bikes and stuff if we broke them, and like I just in general I'm pretty easy on equipment and can get in these and not, knock on wood, not rip gears out of them. Mm-hmm. Like downshifts, I'll miss one every once in a while. The Fortin's pretty good because it'll like go into a false neutral between gears, where some of them there is no between gears. Like you miss a gear and now you're hitting a dog on the other side or something like that. So but I mean, like with the 6XD stuff and all the drifts guys going to kind of that dog box style. Like I think the technology is changing a lot. Like they've been running that box in off-road for probably 10, 15 years maybe. You know, it was all automatic before, but they're just so heavy and you got to deal with all that heat and stuff. So I think there's probably room for somebody to kind of innovate there eventually, but there's kind of the guys that win have the if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality, because there's so much that can go wrong, and there's like so much butterfly effect of changing one thing.
Oh, yeah.
And it just feeds down the line. And like, even if you put a different trans in, you have to run a different drive shaft. Like, now does that drive shaft behave the same as the previous one? So it's like, not only are you testing that, but you're testing everything else in line. And then what does it do for temp, and how does it affect the whole system? And it's kind of this moving target constantly. But
yeah, it's like, how do you test it without ruining an entire season or 2 or 3 seasons? You know, just, no, I get it.
Yeah.
What about like tuning between race weekends, whether that be suspension tuning? Are you guys able to kind of do any like engine tuning, or what does that kind of consist of? Or is it pretty standardized?
Yeah. It'll like suspension is a big one. Like we went to Crandon last weekend, spent 2 days dialing in shocks like that. Going from certain tracks are a lot more taxing on it. Just like Crandon doesn't have landings. So like you gotta have, if you want to hit the jumps wide open, like it can't be bottoming out. Like otherwise you just, it's like letting off in a straightaway. So it's like super important there. Like at our track here, like the jumps are a lot different, and like you don't bottom out on them. There's bigger landings and stuff. So like some guys will optimize the truck for that, and some guys will just say, hey, I know it was good at Crandon, so I know it won't be bottoming out here. So from the shock side, it's like if things are working and you're not in left field, or you're like making small adjustments in the right area, it's not too much. It's almost small clicks on the adjusters to kind of dial it in for what the track condition's doing.
Okay.
But
are you doing all 4 corners differently as well?
Usually it's like a wholesale change in the rear or the front.
Okay.
It's usually all symmetrical.
Okay.
Just because we do lefts and rights. But we have coil carriers and compression shocks that are bypassed. So there's 8 shocks to tune on. So there's a million ways to skin the cat. You can do it with spring rate. You can do it with hardware changes internally. You can do it with hydraulic changes externally. Like there's a million ways to do it. So
how do you decide which way to do it?
Help from Fox, help from mechanics.
Okay.
It's usually try to change one thing at a time, know what it did, and you want more of that or less of that. And then if it didn't do what you wanted, you'll go back and try changing something else. So, I mean, you definitely get a feel for it. It's something you don't pick up overnight, but that was a big help for me coming from the snow side. Like I loved the shock tuning side on the snow, and it just translates. Like I know what 3 clicks will do.
Okay.
To compression, and it might feel different because the vehicle's different, but like that scale in my head is the same, and like I know the feeling that it'll do, and like what I would want to do on an internal change on the valve stack or the shim stack for that. So like the shock's just bigger. And yeah, I think like it's intimidating right away because it's a lot of things that you can adjust and you can really tune yourself out. But yeah, I mean, like on the UTV side, we have the electronic side too, like which they don't let us do. And that kind of goes into your question too, like what do we do on the engine side of the truck? We have a spec Motec harness that we have to run. There's
in the trucks.
Yep, there's quite a few channels that are locked out just so we can't get the traction control and some of the launch stuff, and it just kind of protects against, I would say, mostly the output stuff that Motec can do, just because like they want to use it to monitor. So they'll do like, we'll do lambdas on all the headers when it's like a new engine. We'll do 8 of them, and kind of dial it in that way. But like when we race, I don't think they let you run them. I know for sure in the past, like when we first developed this engine package, you couldn't race with that stuff. So there's certain sensors that we can practice with, but we just can't race with.
Okay. Hold on. You mentioned something there. When you first developed an engine package, is that you guys doing something? Or?
With an engine builder.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Is your engine builder out of Minnesota, somewhere out?
Michigan. So it used to be at Roush. Now he started his own airflow engineering.
Okay.
Ron Sharp is our guy. So
interesting.
There's probably 4 or 5 big guys that are doing it in off-road. And a big thing is like you need the guy at the track. They're plugging in after every race, making sure everything's good. And, like my crew guys can do it too. They're pretty savvy with that stuff, but like the engine builder cares a lot, right? Like where my guys got to make sure the whole thing is good to go. And we'll kind of check vitals, right? It's like the difference between a nurse and a doctor.
Yeah.
Like my guys are the nurse, right? They're just making sure you're breathing and everything's good. And then if stuff's bad, they'll bring in the big guns. So, but yeah, it was kind of make sure everything's going good. And then they obviously, as they're doing rebuilds, are seeing what parts are wearing and, if we're getting dirt in or kind of whatever. And then kind of what they're seeing in the dynos, and they're usually helping a few other teams too. So, if it's like between class to class, like there's the Pro 2 class, some guys that are running similar engines, but they have like a spec head, so they're making like 750 horse. But like what we're learning on air filters applies to both, or what we're doing for certain calibration stuff. So there's some teams that we'll work with, if they're not in our class and we have the same engine builder, just to try to save some money and dyno time and stuff like that. But for the most part, a lot of it's already been done. It's just making it live. Like in the truck, if you're losing, it's usually not because you're down on power. Like you still got to get it all to the ground. The traction on dirt is the thing that we all want more of. So,
oh man, I have so many questions now. You got me going. All right, how often are you guys doing engine rebuilds? Is that between every single race or tear parts? Like what does that health inspection look like?
It all depends. Just with like how aggressive the valves are and some of that, like the cam timing, all that.
Can that change between races too? Or not really?
Usually not. Like it's not quite like you're trying to move that power band. Like you know that you need the torque, right? And like when we go to Crandon, it's a little more high end or hot top end heavy than some of the other tracks. But like if we've had them where like we usually rebuild them midway through the season, if not a little earlier. A lot of it depends on how good you're being to them, right? If they're just in dirt, if they're getting hot, like it's more. Pretty much everyone's got 2 engines and they run one till halfway and then switch. Some guys will try to get on a different schedule. So like for the big ones like Crandon, they're putting a fresh one in. I don't know. Everyone's kind of different. We this year we're running a limited schedule. So but we're doing more testing. So it's like the testing when you're racing every weekend or, the full season, they don't always have time, but, so it's good. That was like a big deciding factor with kind of what we decided to do this year with racing. Some of that part-time was like, let's show up fully prepared and like ready to win. Not just sometimes you show up and you're 95% ready. Right. And it's like, if stuff goes right, we can win, but like, it's hard to do that. It's hard to, you want to show up ready. And sometimes you just don't have you didn't get your parts back in time or you were rushed on a prep or whatever. So, but yeah, I think so we're putting a new one in for Crandon. So we ran one engine for 2 races.
This previous week?
Yeah. Yep. So there's no engine in it right now. It's getting rebuilt, and then the one that was in it will be prepped for the spare. So it'll be freshened and then brought back to
so
the
kind
track.
of bounce between them sometimes. Okay.
Yeah. So you always want them both at the track if you can have them.
Okay.
But yeah, I think, and then there's levels within there too. Like we see some piston failure every once in a while or something like that. If like we know that that's happening, we'll maybe swap those out sooner than we maybe would have. But like valve, springs, kind of some of that more wear and tear parts that they're so on the edge that like they just it's not even worth chancing.
Mhm.
If you're going to open it up, you just do them.
Right.
So stuff like that. But I don't usually, that's kind of the cap of my knowledge. Kind of try to be on a plan with them and try to understand. But at the end of the day, I kind of partner with them and let them kind of make the decision of what's best. You know, we talk on like where we want the engine cycles to kind of be fresh, you know, going into what races and stuff like that. But yeah.
So between the UTV and the truck side of things, how many races are you doing a season?
Typically there's 7 to 8 rounds in the full season. We haven't done a full season in the truck in a couple of years, probably two or three. In the UTV, this is the first season we haven't done the full season.
Okay.
So usually we'll do the whole thing in the UTV. Some of that's like I was saying earlier, like the tracks. Some of them don't fit the trucks quite as well. They kind of lend themselves more to demo derby type racing. Just hard to pass, and just you end up breaking a lot of stuff when you go to some of the real tight tracks. They're still fun. They're just not quite as fun to drive as the big dogs. So it's like if I had to pick, you know, kind of save some money and you know, we got a set amount of sponsor dollars that we can go do. And I think to like represent those sponsors the best we can at the big races, like that was kind of our decision this last year, was to pick the big ones, show up super prepared and go for the win at those. So this year we're doing three races in both. I got 5 kids too and a full-time job, and trying to balance it all. And my kids are at the age where they're really into racing. And if I race off-road, that's the only thing we can kind of race, just because it's a full schedule. So doing the part-time schedule, a big piece of it was that for me this year. Like my oldest is 7, and just he's at that age where I can get him into other disciplines, and he's not too far behind, you know, and he picks things up really quickly, and he's really an aggressive racer. And
is that where the go-karting comes in?
Yeah. So
you're going to Stockholm over here pretty regularly?
Yep. Yeah. Stockholm's where we're at. So we're heading out there this weekend too. And of course I got to race too. So, but yeah, it's a piece of it was just kind of picking other things that maybe fit the learning better for him. Like he'll go to the off-road races, and it's super fun. The hard part is probably the most fun driving you can do is the off-road. Like you're jumping and sliding, and it's all the same things you're doing on a road course or a go-kart or whatever, but it's like
you add another axis,
these other fun elements and involved, and loud noises and whatever. The racing is always tight. Like there's just on dirt, it's just exciting. So it's fun. I think like we're noticing the go-kart stuff's fun. It's just not like watching a bunch of pro folders out there or something, but to race it, like I could be racing wheelbarrows and I'd be having fun. So just to be able to go, I mean, he'll get 60 miles on his cart in a weekend, which is just, I mean, he never has to worry about not getting on the track. So
that's a half-mile track, dude.
Yeah. No, and that's like, we always joke, that's like enough, like he could drive home from Stockholm to here in his cart. And like,
I haven't been out there in so long.
That's 50 miles.
That's such a fun track.
Yeah.
Have you ever made it out? I think I think they just closed it this year out in Pennsylvania. They had like a 0.8 mile like go-kart track, and it was an outdoor one. The layout was awesome. They had actually like Le Mans style racing.
They're like through a town.
Yeah.
I think I've seen clips of that.
Yeah.
I think there's been like some people that have died at it.
Oh, for real?
Because it's like pretty gnarly. There's like trees and stuff right off the track.
I
may be thinking of something else.
But either way, it was cool because like when we rented it 6 years ago now, geez, you could basically have a team of 4. And then it'd be like a 1 hour race, and then you had to like, figure out who to jump in. It was really sick. I wish more places did it like that. Yeah. But
there's a big race in the UK like that, where it's like a 24-hour race.
Yeah.
3 or 4 people teams.
With go-karts?
Yeah.
Dude, that's insane.
And they have like, I think they have like 60 entries. It's a huge track, and they like go through the night, and it's all like rental carts. So you just get assigned a cart and like you gotta
No
run
way.
it. Yeah.
That sounds. Man, if I had unlimited dollars, that'd be a hilarious thing to run.
No, it'd be super fun. I think it'd be awesome. They did one. Is it like Appleton area? Badger.
I don't know, Wisconsin,
Club.
Appleton?
Yeah,
Okay.
they have a kart track up there, and they did an enduro. I think it was like a 12-hour team race. I think
intense.
they used to do them at Stockholm back in the day. I haven't done one there in a while, but yeah, it'd be fun.
It's tough with track. I can't remember who I was talking to. It's a big insurance risk apparently to like have karting. So, yeah. But okay, so I don't want to forget this. So earlier when we were talking about setup when it came to the shock side of things. All right, so you're at the track this past weekend. You're out testing. How long are test sessions before the actual like racing side of things?
You mean like on race weekend?
Yeah.
We literally get one session.
So you have to basically like this is the change I need.
We get like 4 laps.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you go right into qualifying.
Okay. Can you tell what kind of changes you need to make in those 4 laps?
Now I can. When I first got in it, my default was always like, I'm not going to tune on the car if I'm not close. Like,
sure.
If I'm driving at 60% of what I should be, why would I go make a bunch of changes on the car?
Yeah, blame the car.
And then like, I don't know. I think that was just a principle when I was growing up was like, look in the mirror before you look in the microscope of the vehicle. Like,
that's a good quote.
Kind of get yourself dialed in, and then we'll worry about the car. Which I think as like a dad, that's okay to like not let the kid worry about it, but like still be making changes to the kid's cart or sled or whatever it is. And I think that's probably what happened when I was a kid, but just like didn't ever focus on it on myself until I kind of got to the point where I was dialed in on a machine. I think a piece of it too is like as a kid, it's really hard to get feedback. And I think like the dads that can kind of ask things the right way can kind of have a leg up, or you can watch and kind of see what the vehicles are doing. But yeah, I think in the 4 laps like we get for qualifying, like or for practice, like if I have to try something in those 4 laps, like we didn't get our tests done before we kind of went there, which sometimes happens, but there's a lot of people that do. Like I would say most of the UTV guys are that way, where they're not testing between. And I would say like when we run the full season, like we probably do more test laps than anybody.
Okay.
Obviously,
same thing with the truck as well?
Yeah. No. I don't. In the truck, I don't know if you want the most test laps because it's wear and tear. Like on the snowmobile side, like we always had a practice sled, right? So like you could go pound laps, but like that is my practice machine and my race machine. Like you just got to be really smart. Like if you're gonna test, you got to have like we're never just spinning laps. It's like we're testing something, and before I go out, we know exactly how many laps I'm gonna run and what exactly we're testing. And we got GoPros all over the thing, or whatever it is we're doing. There might be a couple things we'll test at the same time, like a different tire groove if we're testing something on the engine, or unrelated things. But it's tough. I mean, I think that's where some of these guys that have been doing it for a really long time can get a truck dialed in very quickly and not need to spend a bunch of laps, because whether you do 5 laps or 50 laps, it's the same amount of prep work to get it ready for the next race. So, but the engine, obviously, there's a difference between the 5 and the 50. So,
so you guys not really touching the truck, not too much between races then?
Well, we usually go test at whatever race track we are going to race at next. We'll go test at that track.
Oh, cool.
Before we race it. So we'll do one test. Sometimes we'll do like a brief shakedown here at our track, like to make sure, like we'll put the setup change in here, gonna go to the track and test it. Sometimes we'll shake it down here. Like we did this last week. We got a whole new rear shock package. We were going to go to Crandon and test. We tested there last Thursday and Friday. We put the shocks on here and made sure that we didn't bottom out here. Because if we bottom out here with landings, there's no point in going to Crandon. So it was almost like we would have canceled the test, ordered parts to change it, or tried to get the right things and then move the test date. So sometimes it's just got to kind of be ready to call an audible, and like having the plan helps. Like we kind of had all spoken about that. Like, hey, let's put the thing in. I'm going to run over here quick after work. Like,
is that like a quick 2-3 lap sort of deal? Or
that was yeah, it's funny. It's like every time we say 2-3 laps, it turns into 10.
Sure.
Or, you know, two 5-lap sessions or whatever. And that was it. It was like, hey, we're going to come out and do a couple laps. It's like 6:30 at night in a loud truck out here. And we're like, okay, we're just going to run a couple. And then they're like, oh, it was pretty close, but like, let's make some adjustments. Go do a couple more. And then pretty soon we're like tuning it in. And then I think we collectively were like, okay, like we're not in left field. Like, let's load the thing up, go to Crandon, kind of get it dialed in. And it worked out. Like, that was a successful test. There's been some bad ones that you just go there and we've blown an engine in 5 laps, or we've overheated, or we've broken a part that the other spare is sitting here. Or we only had one spare and we need it for the race, so we can't put it in and go test the rest of the day. So, yeah, I mean, it always, the minute you think you got a solid plan, like it'll throw a curveball at you. So having the track here is a huge help because we can do changes a lot quicker.
Oh yeah,
we can like
definitely helps.
Pull right in here and put it on jacks and swap stuff out quick, and we're not out in the heat and in the dirt and stuff like that. And a big one too is like I can control the variables of the track. Like there's a ton of variables in off-road. How dry it is, how loose it is, you know, all the way from how the jumps are. And like when you go to other tracks, like you're not controlling those. Like we were doing tire tests on the UTV at Crandon last week, and like we're making pretty good progress. They were consistently prepping the track. And then the end of the day, they did like 2 laps with the water truck instead of 1. And it threw all the data off. The truck, the vehicle was spinning out everywhere, just couldn't hook up, was muddy. And it's just like, you wanted to get all mad at the water truck guy, but it's like, it's how it goes. So it's part of the deal. It's everyone kind of battles that too when they go and test. We're just lucky enough to be able to drive the water truck ourselves here when we test.
True,
so
yeah,
kind of helps it out. But yeah, it's tough. I think that's like the thing we're learning in the kart side is like how nice it is to have the same track. Like when we go to Stockholm on a test day, it's like in off-road, that's never the case. It's like,
you have so many more variables.
Just
it's not just
what
heat.
the conditions are. And yeah. And it's like Stockholm, it's like, is it sunny and is it warm or is it cold and cloudy? That's the difference.
Just a handful of variables.
Yeah. So,
and
then you can like go dial in that lap time, right? Like in off-road, I can be a second off and I'm like, okay, the track is loose. It was pretty dry. I felt really good. I think I can make up that second on a race day. And like, sometimes you show up and you're 2 seconds faster than everybody. And sometimes you're 2 seconds slower. And you're like, man, we felt really good. Like what happened? So I had a couple of buddies that are like newer into it, and we'll have like, they're helping out on the team, and we'll have like we'll have like a really good test, and I'm all jazzed. And they're like, hell yeah. Like we're going to go and win. I'm like, yeah, like everyone else could be testing too, or like we could show up and the track could be different, or, it's just like, you're almost hesitant to like be too excited.
Yeah. Until the race happens.
Yeah. You're just like, yeah, anything can happen. So, and he's like, man, you guys are all like downers. I'm like, no, we're just realists. Like you try to not, cause I think when you go on cloud 9, you show up and you think you got it. That's usually a bad sign. Like you're going to fall. Something's happening here. Like
count your chickens before they hatch sort of deal.
Yeah, for sure. So you just kind of learn the hard way a few times there. But
one thing you mentioned there was data. So when you're like, for example, you were testing this new shock package, is that more like, Are you using the butt dyno? Are you cracking open a laptop afterwards? Like, what exactly does that test session look like? Like, how do you know you have a good setup? Haltech has once again pushed the envelope. Today we are talking GM. Sorry everyone else. At the end of 2025, they announced their new transmission interfaces for our GM listeners, which is a solution for those with 4L and 6L series transmissions. So whether you have a drift car, drag car, or a high-powered street car, you can finally rip out that rinky-dink, almost 2-decade-old OE setup and get set up with everything that a standalone ECU has to offer without the compromise. To learn more, go to tunedbysean, shawn.com to learn about how a Haltech can take your build to the next level. And while you're at it, check out the various plug-and-play solutions for your platform as well, including some install videos. As always, you can use code Minnoxide for 5% off. Let's get back to the show.
Yeah, I think when you're in left field on the suspension stuff,
Oh, you can definitely feel it probably.
the sensors help though.
Okay.
Because like bottoming out can be caused by a lot of different things. So like knowing where the wheel travel is at. So like on the Razor, we'll do that. Like I was saying earlier, like that has electronically controlled shocks. Like it's a lot more advanced than the Pro 4, which is crazy. But that vehicle comes with those. Mm-hmm. So therefore we can race with them. And on the Pro 4, you can't have wires on your shocks. It's a little more old school, like on the electronic side. They just are fearful that deeper pockets will win if they let that stuff happen.
Which I get it too.
So, but it gets double-edged sword where it's like, man, well, like when the UTVs have it, it's not the guys that have the most money that are winning. It's the guys that figure it out. And it's like, well, would that be different in Pro 4? Maybe, because you could, those teams are the guys that would hire a guy to just manage that or whatever. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times we have the advantage because we live 40 minutes from Polaris, and a lot of the guys there are my buddies, and they're the ones making the software and developing these systems, and I'm their friend, so they help me out more than a lot of the other guys. So we were the first one to race short course with that system because
right here
we weren't afraid of it, right? Like we did a lot of work with Polaris and kind of put the effort in, and it's awesome. It's super helpful and like does amazing things. So like getting back to your question on like how are we feeling changes, like on that, like we'll shut all the electronic stuff off, so because it can kind of numb things, right? Like it's adapting. It's like when you have lane assist on in your truck and you like go to merge and you didn't do the blinker, it'll like swerve you back. Like it's essentially doing that with the valving. Like it's correcting for things the vehicle are doing. So you'd be like, well, why was it stiff that time? And I did it the next lap and it wasn't. So some of that can be the electronics. So we usually shut all that off. And then if it's a brand new package or we're in left field with our setup, we'll put like string pots on each shock that basically tell us where bottom out is and where full extension is. And then we can watch it on the data and kind of know like, okay, on the face of that jump, I can't tell if I'm 90% through my shock stroke. So like I'm not bottoming out, but I could be really close and I won't know. But like if I am bottoming out, then I know, right? So the string pot will kind of fill in the gap there and tell you where are you in travel, and then you can watch it. A lot of times you can watch the balance of it too. Like you can see the rear unsettling and the front.
Is that where all like the extra GoPros and stuff come in? Or?
Yeah, like we'll do that on the truck because it's a lot harder to put string pots when you got 2 shocks per corner and there's just a lot going on. So like if it's not too bad, a GoPro will do a lot, and even an iPhone video does a ton. Right, you slow it down and see what the shock's doing. But yeah, the when you're first getting it, you're trying to pick your spring rate with a brand new vehicle. We usually have the Polaris guys come out, or on the truck, we'll have Fox out and help us get the data set up and kind of dial it in. But now like this car, we aren't doing that. A lot of it's butt dyno and just visually, like we can see it, what it's doing, and a lot of times it's like my feedback combined with their feedback, because there's things that I won't see, but like I'm really sensitive to like if I go in the corner and it picks up the inside tires, Like that is not a good feeling. That makes me want to like go slower. But like to them, the tire's this high off the ground. Doesn't look bad. But like the minute I feel that shock like stop extending and it hits the end of its stroke and then it starts to pick up, that's like a clunk that you like. It feels like a big clunk. It's not. It's really tiny. But it's like when you're going in and you think you're going to tip, and then you feel that noise. It's like, I'll come in right away and be like, hey, like we got to fix that. And they're like, whoa, like it looked fine. So there's certain pieces of it where like I'm way more sensitive to it. And then like some of them for them were like, if it lands and the thing like rebounds up and like picks the tires back up off the ground, like they're really sensitive to that when they watch the mechanics or guys.
You're saying like when you land and it rebounds.
Yeah, like if you land so hard that it bottoms out and then it'll like spring back up off the ground, like it kind of gets that like it's like pickups to it when you like hit railroad tracks. You just like get this like perpetual wave. Like when you land, you want them to stick and like stay squatted so that when they go in the corner, they're low and like.
Oh, I see.
A properly handling truck will do that. So like if they ever rebound or misbehave, the guys are always like, whoa, like let's just start turning tubes. And I'm like, it felt pretty good. And they're like, well, like, cause I feel so much sidewall too. Like the tire does a lot. Like a lot of times I'm like bracing for the impact of landing. So as it's rebounding, I'm like loosening up and I just don't feel it. Like it's just, I won't even know the tire will come back off the ground. If it's like a really big hit and I'm not moving forward a lot, like I can feel them. But a lot of times we're hitting the jump at 80 miles an hour. So I'm going out pretty aggressively. So the bounce isn't like up. It's pretty like,
oh, sure.
Like skipping a stone. So like to me, it doesn't feel abrupt. So, I mean, long story short, there's different things that I'm really sensitive to that I'll tune. The butt dyno works really well. And then there's certain things that like I'm fine with. It doesn't bother me. If I was tuning it all on my own, I wouldn't be catching it, and they catch it. So a lot of that's just like knowing the team, knowing their tendencies, and they know mine. Like they know the things that if the car does this, like it might not make it slower, but it makes me slower. Like I'm not confident if the car does that.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So
it's a
like
game.
Piece of it is making me comfortable, and a piece of it is like making the car better.
Okay.
So, because it's got to do both. If it makes the car faster, but I get more uncomfortable doing it, like
then you're just gonna be holding back that whole time.
Yeah. So a piece of it is figuring that out. In the UTV, I'm usually pretty dialed in. Like
just send it, basically.
I think we don't have that like limited testing problem that we do in the Pro 4. Like I can guess my lap time and be within a couple tenths in the UTV because we're so dialed in on it. We have so many laps in it, and there's a lot of work it takes to get them to where we get it. It's a lot of little things, and like by dialing all these systems in, like I just get really comfortable with it. So like that one, we don't change anything on it, but it took a lot of changing to get it to where it's at.
Initial
so
setup.
It's just like it's so dialed in. It's to the point where I have like 2 sets of shocks for the thing, and I know which tracks I want, which shocks, and different setups, and I have like electronic changes that I do at some tracks and not others, and we just have tons of data. Like we were testing a crane last week, and we had a full like a notebook you have in school. Like we ran out of pages. Like we needed to grab a new notebook.
What does that
from
look
2
like?
years of like running the car.
Is that just kind of like looking back at like previous setups you've done, or like
a lot of it's like we'll go through the data and we'll pull like temperatures, max. Like last week we were doing intake air temp stuff, and we'll like it's better to have it and not need it. So we'll just write down anything that could correlate with each other. And a lot of times, like as we're writing it down on the paper, like it's all in the computer. It doesn't need to be saved really on paper, but like as we're writing it down, it's where a lot of times you have the aha moment.
Yeah.
And then it's just like I'm very visual, so like I can look at the data and be like, I don't remember what we got for intake air temps that day, but like I can remember watching myself write it in the notebook.
Right. Yeah.
So then I can remember the number. Like we were 119 degrees after 5 laps. Like I know it, you know, and like if we didn't write it down, we probably didn't. So a lot of it's just like having that record, and then that's just like our notebook, right? That's like our playbook, right? Like that's the sacred thing. We don't let anyone see. So like we'll go through it, and like we can page back to what were they at this race 2 years ago, you know, what was the ambient temp, all this stuff. So everything's in the data. It's just, it's different when it's in your hands, and you can kind of
don't leave that at the airport.
It's a little more old school, right? Like you can kind of page through it, and
that's cool.
At the track, sometimes it's just quicker too. I'm like, we'll just grab the thing and flip through and be like, okay, this is where we were. This time we were here. Like, we just make decisions better that way. And
what's it like having that factory support? You mentioned like, you know, it's like just drive 40 minutes, you know, south. How often is that conversation going on?
It's changed. Like now Polaris has a race program. On the snowmobile side, they have like dedicated employees that their job is to help Polaris racers win races. When the UTV, that's for snowmobiling. That's what I grew up with, you know, rode for Polaris factory on the snow and like had all that support, made the switch into the off-road, started doing the UTV stuff. There was no support on the race side. They were drinking from a fire hose trying to develop these vehicles for consumers to make money and pay for all this racing and all this other stuff. And it was, you know, exploding, and there was Can-Am and all these other companies coming in the market. So they were, you know, there's just a ton of pressure to keep pushing. So like they weren't dumping money into the racing. So the way that you would get help would be to find the guys that like to win. And some of them, it was like, it depends on what you're asking for, but like they have to be willing to get their hand slapped to help you. Cause like some of those guys, it's like if they worked their whole life, went all through school, they got their dream job, and like by helping me, worst case scenario, something horrible happens, you know, someone gets hurt and there's a lawsuit, or, you know, something leaks or word gets out that they did something wrong or caused some other issue. Yeah. Like, is them helping me worth them getting fired from their dream job or, you know, whatever? A lot of times the answer is no. So finding guys that you're friends with, obviously you can build a relationship with. Usually if they like racing, it helps a lot. They just they're interested or they race themselves. And then just building trust, you know, like making those relationships, finding the people that understand what you're doing. And a big piece of it was like early on learning, okay, these guys are engineers. They sit and develop every part in this car all day, every day. And then a racer shows up and puts on every billet aftermarket part he can, you know, and he's every aftermarket UTV companies bolting all the stuff on. Well, then they go out and they blow a belt or they break an axle or they go in limp mode, and they go to Polaris and they're like, what the hell? This thing sucks. Like, why'd it break? Well, every aftermarket part is telling them, well, you didn't do your job, or you were bad at it, or I thought that this guy that sat in front of a 3-axis machine knew how to make it better than you did. So like, hey, I trusted these parts more than your parts, but now I have issues. Will you help me? Like,
it's always interesting how that goes.
People don't want to help you then. So I was Mr. Stock part guy. Like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And sometimes replacing the stock axle twice as frequently, they put a lot of effort into that axle. There's a lot more thinking that goes into what's the fuse in that system, that usually it's the axle. Like, you put a heavier duty axle in and assume they don't know what they're doing. Now you have transmission problems. Like,
it goes completely
hey, will you help me? Like, well, put our axle in and then try it. Well, like, racers don't like hearing that. They want to know, like, how do you make the trans better? So a lot of it was just like having that mentality. And now I think a piece of it is like we kind of paved the way on some of that. Like we were one of the first to do some of the stuff we're doing, like with this live valve, and first one to figure out some of these things on the car. Well, now Polaris has more money dedicated to the racing program, especially in the desert, but they're definitely helping out a lot more. I would say probably 3-4 years ago, some of the guys that would help me a ton got pulled on to that race team, and now they're in their dream job too because they get to do both. But it's helped. It went from being like not dominated by Polaris to, I mean, the minute they put effort into the factory program, like Polaris are winning. And it's cool. It's cool to see that, like the hard work and then like the passion that some of these guys have, and like to see it before they have a race program that they'll help you for free, essentially. Like they'll put their job on the line to help you. And a lot of it's just like not just taking, right? Like you got to do things that can make their jobs easier too, right? Like help them out and do other things and find that two-way street that, you know, we can move the needle. We do a lot of projects with Polaris here, stuff where like they get slammed and they want to get something done quick, like fab wise, like
bringing the skunk
there's just
works.
certain things that, yeah, like it's definitely that way. And I think super blessed to have that opportunity. And
That's
I think
really cool.
that's kind of the double-edged sword of like, we get to do the other side of it too. And it's fun. And I think we've built that trust over years and, got to do it. Yeah. And then like, we're super passionate about it. And like to bring a project like that in the shop and tell the guys like, hey, we get to build the top secret thing for Polaris. Like,
is there anything that you can, like now that it's like public, that you can talk about or not really?
There hasn't been a ton. A lot of it's just like little stuff, but like,
Yeah.
they just released that boost car, like the Turbo Pro R. They sent us one of their race chassis last summer, and want us to cut a few tubes out of it to basically fit the bigger trans and the turbo in it. So that was a last summer thing, and now the car just got released. So that's probably like the most immediate answer.
Okay.
But
It was just more so like just to like feel out the idea.
Yeah. Or like that one was they wanted to race that chassis like as soon as it got released.
Oh, I see.
When usually like all the effort gets put on the production car, and then after that, then they'll work on the race implication, or like putting that power plant in a race car. So they like wanted to get ahead of the curve, and like they're slammed. Like before a model year launch, like everyone at the whole company is just 100% focused
Just
on
hair
that.
on fire. Yeah.
So to like put a little more effort in the race program, like while that's happening, just doesn't work. So that's where they're like, hey, like, can we just drop this chassis off? We'll get you the CAD. Can you just handle it? And I'm like, yep.
That's so cool.
So yeah, a lot of it's like I'm drawing the tubes, sending them to Gary. He's cutting them, making a fixture. Guys are putting it on the table. They get it done in like a day, and they're just like stoked. And it's a fun break for them to like do something that's different.
So break that down real quick then. So they send you the CAD, you're looking at it, and then in this case, you'd send it off to Gary from Patience for this particular thing.
Yeah, I would like convert it to a cut style file or,
you
know, a different file type, just knowing how Gary would want the CAD prepped. And then a lot of times I'm deleting all the other things out of the CAD. So Gary doesn't see what it is. He just sees 3 tubes and
funny.
then just tell him not to tell anybody about it.
And then your guys over here, basically. So what do you guys do here?
Main thing is prep race cars,
Okay.
Get them ready between races. But we, when we build a new car, we do it in house. Like this car started as pilot tubes. And, we get access to all the CAD from Polaris. That's my background. My other passion is 3D modeling and design. That's what I do.
Is that a day job?
From a day job, and
Okay.
like the reason I got into it was because I wanted to draw race cars, and then kind of spiraled into doing it full time. And so yeah, do it to design all my own cars. And yeah, and then the guys are like world-class fabricators. Really good welders and tube fitters, just, and then it's a lot of that is like pretty old school, right? Like it's like a good body work guy, right? It's just like a dying art, you feel like. And I kind of have the technology side, and then the guys have the fab side. So like we just work well together, and like getting them more versed on the CAD side. We're sending them 3D models, and a lot of times it's like I'm at work, I got the race car pulled up, and they're like, "Okay, like I'm gonna measure from the A pillar to here." Like we're just verifying that things are right, and like I'm spitting them dimensions over the phone, and like I think they've developed that a lot more. Of like when I first started working with them, they like the like just tube slinging. You kind of lay it out manually on a table, and you got like space claims, and a lot of times they'll like set tires on the fixture table and kind of like plot the thing out where you want. You just start laying tubes down and tacking them together. And now it's the opposite. It's like
super
we get a Lego
out
kit, and I have a giant metal fixture, and they have to go there, and like don't sand that tube, because if that tube shifts a 1/4 inch, then every other tube's 1/4 inch shifted. And so at first it was tough. They're like getting the barrel sanders out. I'm like, no. Like that tube's perfect.
When did
unless
that
Gary
start
made
happening?
it wrong.
When did you guys start transitioning to that then? Like that sort of style? Like a few years ago, or?
I would say probably 2019
was
the first year that I kind of went from like, I think we could benefit from having the whole car in CAD. And a piece of it is like, I try to keep like payroll is the expensive part, right? So I try to keep their time down. I don't always value my time the same, right? And like now I have 5 kids, I do more. But like 2019, I didn't have any kids. So if I could sit at home on my computer until 2 a.m. and finish the car and get enough parts cut on a laser or whatever, that when they come in tomorrow at 8, that they're doing the things that they're really good at, not, the things that they're maybe inefficient at, like just keeping them in their sweet spot. And I always joke with them. I'm like, I'm a picky bastard, dude. I want things the way I want them. And there's been times where like, I'll come in, and if like before the CAD era, I'd be like, man, like it's not how I wanted it. Like, I think we need to do it this way. And I can just see it on their face. Right. And they're like, gotta cut this thing apart, or like gotta redo it, or I'm sacrificing and be like, oh, it's fine, like it'll work. So but like at the end of the day, I'm not pumped, and that's where like the CAD lets me be the neat freak of like, I don't want to be indecisive when they're here and be wasting their time. And like when you're laying it out by hand, that's how it is. It's like, okay, how much rake are we gonna put on these cage tubes, or this and that, and like some of it's visual, some of it's function. We're trying to use the least amount of tubing possible, weight stuff. So like if I got a wild hair, like I can draw 3 different versions, and the computer will tell me which one's the lightest. And like I can get nitpicky on my own at 2 a.m.
Right.
And then
before everybody else
I can
involved.
make that decision, and it just lets me sleep better at night, because I get to do things the way I want and not affect how the build's going to go or how much it costs. And it's not this dreaded process of like, oh, Andrew's going to overthink this. And, cause at work, I'm like the race car guy that will just Wild West build it. And they're by the book engineer. And then here I'm the like engineer that'll drive them crazy, because they just want to, do it by hand or
right. So you're the wild guy there, but then over here, yeah.
So I kind of get both ends of it. So it's like I can feel the pain of both sides, and kind of try to pick and choose when I'm which one.
Do these things have certain, like, what are the rules like that you have to abide by? Like when it comes to like building it out, is there certain parameters you have to play within?
Yeah, so they're different from one to the other.
Yeah.
The truck is overall width and overall length. There's a max width, and then there's a window you have to be in for wheelbase. I think it's like 18-inch spread, max to min. And then there's suspension travel limits on the Pro 4. I think it's like 20 inches in the back, and then like 18 in the front, something like that. There's limits on like the electronic side of things. It's got to be a solid rear axle. Can't be independent rear. You can't have more than 2 shocks per corner. Some of it's like not even a thing we'd want to push on, and some of it is like whatever. But then the Pro 4 is like 10 pounds per cubic inch.
Okay.
So you can really, there's a minimum weight.
Yep.
So you obviously, you can be a smaller engine, but you have to be 4,100 pounds either way. So like being smaller than a 410 doesn't really have a benefit. And then I think, I don't even know what the top end is, like 450 is like the biggest maybe. So yeah, there's a weight, but like other than that, like on the truck, you can make it look however you want.
Okay.
It's like connect the dots wherever you see fit.
Interesting.
I think it's like the trans has to be behind the engine. It's got a.
So the rule book's basically like a pamphlet, basically.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of safety stuff.
Okay.
Like tubing thickness, gussets, even like how the door bars are, like safety wise. Like it's got to be a V or a H. So bumpers can't come through the door, and like you got to have a diagonal over your head and steel plates here or there, and like all the rules are safety wise stuff like that.
Fair.
Like,
and then with these, same deal.
yeah, so there's wall thickness, diameter rules. This one's progressed quite a bit. I mean, it started out as like you had to have the stock factory frame rails. So like we would buy a chassis, cut everything off it, but the main 2 frame horns, and then build a Pro 4 on top of it. And then
those rules are always funny to me.
Yeah, and then they're realizing like, okay, we're buying a $5,000 chassis and throwing it away. They're like, okay, now you just need to leave the pivots in the same spot, and like the frame horns, you can replace them with like a chromoly tube, but they have to be in the same spot. So then now we're like, okay, now we can fit it. We can just do the whole thing. So, which some of that's easier and some of it's harder, because like all the suspension tabs then we're making and welding them to the tubes. When you start with those main frame tubes, like you have all the pivots there, then you're just trying to keep it light and structural around it. So like this car was built with the stock frame tubes. We have one sitting on the fixture table over there that was built the other way. That one ended up being a more rigid car, but like sometimes we learn that the stock frame rails like twist a little better and can build more traction. So some of it's like which one you want to do, and then each chat, like that's a different model than this car. That one is more rigid, but then because we built it, but like the stock one actually has smaller diameter main frame tubes than this. So like you get in a big wreck with that one with the stock frame tubes, and like you could be wrecking the chassis because they're not as strong. So like this one was more overbuilt, so it's like a better candidate to use the stock chassis main frame rails. So
interesting.
Each one's different. You kind of like we built one last year that was the most radical one we've built, and like just tons of time into it. And
what made it the most radical?
Full bore fixture. I mean, just like we built it more off of the factory race car. So Polaris released one that's like you can go buy a desert car like turnkey, and they put it was similar to what I was talking about earlier. It's like all these engineers that get paid tons of money to build cool stuff, like they built a race car and like didn't have production mindset. It's like a GT2 RS, right? It's not just meant to go on the road. Like it was a purpose-built race car. And used a lot of the stuff that they designed on that. And it was, we couldn't start with the chassis because they use, I can't remember the name of the company. It's who builds NASCAR's spec chassis. It's in North Carolina. So they use that same company to build their base chassis. And I'm like, hey, can I just buy like the main frame rails? I like emailed that company and they're like, it'll be, I think they said $100,000. And like, you can buy the full bore race car for like 160, 140. And I'm like, they basically didn't want to do it because like they're doing production. So like go pull one tube out of each part number I wanted. Like I just sent them a list of part numbers. I'm like, hey, I want these tubes. And they're like, no, like it's $100K. I'm like, you could have just told me no, like for one. And even the Polaris guys were like, come on, like, you know, that was a vendor for them. So it wasn't like Polaris saying,
Oh, okay.
It wasn't Polaris saying no, it was their vendor. And the vendor wanted to make 10, not one, you know. So they just kind of that like race car mindset versus production mindset issue. But yeah, so then I just ended up redrawing it all. And like that car was made with metric tubing because it's FIA certified because they race it in the Dakar rally overseas. So it's like the same sanctioning body that's doing F1 and they get their knickers in a bundle and needed it all metric tubing.
Do you have the FIA seed in there too, that race tech seed?
That one is just because I like the race tech stuff, but it doesn't need to be FIA.
Okay. I was gonna say because they have that. Like I think it's literally like the same seed. You just pay more for the sticker. Or something like that.
Oh no, I don't have that one. No. Some of them are both.
Yeah. Yep.
Like in there, but I don't think I got the FIA one for that. And they get weird on like they're not comfortable like the FIA ones. Like the rally cars are that way, and they're just like I'm a little wider in the shoulders, and they do not fit me. But yeah, like that tube that truck or Razor, we basically took all the Polaris CAD and I redrew everything in American tubing. So like the tubing part wasn't hard, but all the weldments that like coped into the tubing, they all were the same, but they were like a material thickness narrower. So it was like days of just going in and like redundant.
That's a lot of custom work.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And I think when we were done, I think we saved 21 pounds.
Okay.
So it was like, could have bought the factory chassis, been 21 pounds heavier. I probably spent 3 days in CAD. Doing it, saved 21 pounds. That's what I was saying. It was like a lot of work for the squeeze, but it was cool. It was the only one like that. It's pretty cutting edge chassis. Like it's cool. It's the cheaper way to do it than just paying for those tubes. But yeah, it's just like the UTV side has progressed a lot. I think a lot of that's because of the manufacturer support. Like,
do you enjoy one more than the other? The trucks versus the UTV? Like as a driver, not as a spectator.
The truck for sure. Like is
950 horsepower. It's hard to say no
like,
to.
How could you not? Like it's like I love being like uncomfortable, right? Like it's why I love racing. Like I feel like if you line 100 people up, like I am better in an uncomfortable situation than 99 of them. Like if everyone's uncomfortable, I'm the least uncomfortable.
Fair enough.
I feel like. And in the Pro 4, like it's just uncomfortable. Like it's
all the time.
It's rowdy. And so it's just like the more you get exposed to it too, the more like comfortable it gets. And like it's like taming. It's like getting on, like when I think of a bull rider and he like gets on a bull, I'm like, when you're so comfortable that doesn't really go through your mind and like yeah, I like when I get in that thing, I'm aware of what I'm doing. Like it's nerve-wracking like to line up hold that thing at 9,000 RPM and dump the clutch and go and jump the thing 200 feet. Like, I know what I'm about to get doing, but like when you get to the like mental side of it where you're unfazed by it, like when I see it in like other forms, it like bull riding. Like when that dude gets on that thing and he's like, he knows what could happen and he's like 100% okay with it. But like, I think the easiest way to describe it is like you get in this state where no matter what happens, you know what your reaction should be. And that's where the confidence comes from. It's like no matter what situation that truck is in, if it gives me an input, I know the output to combat it. And it's like, that's when you can pull off hairy stuff and like get Western and do something really cool and like ride the thing on 2 wheels through a corner and stay in the gas. And
what's
like,
the hairiest thing you've done? I'm sure it's a long list.
Oh man, I get in the truck. Like, yeah, I more think of the ones where I didn't pull it off and went for a ride, crashed, stuff like that.
Any in particular come to mind? Yeah,
just a couple. I've had a couple at Bark River. One at Bark River that was pretty bad. Just rolled down a big hill and yeah, like the rear end housing came off the thing and I had the whole sprint car ideal. All my blood vessels popped in my eyes and my forehead was all bruised just from like how many G's turned. And the crazy thing is like you'll go through that and like you'll get out and like I can walk and I can go up a flight of stairs and like you have a wreck like that on a snowmobile or a dirt bike and like that doesn't happen. Like you're not walking.
Have you had any nasty ones in those days?
Yeah. So I've blown every ligament in both knees, like dislocated. I've had a lot of concussions, stuff like that. Been pretty lucky on the bone side of things. Never broken bones, but some of those ligaments I would have rather broken the bone and would have healed faster. They can plate it. Stuff like that. I've had some stuff like that. I mean, I had concussions early on, like in moto. I think I was like 10 years old and was out for 5 minutes. Like woke up in the hospital and stuff like that. But I've been lucky that I haven't had a ton of really bad ones. But yeah, on the snow side, like that, it puts it in a perspective where like I can take a pretty big crash in the truck and I'm like, that was not that bad. Like, it's expensive, but
it's more financially damaging.
Financially it hurts, but like
it's like the Tiger King quote.
Yeah, but I'm never gonna recover from this. But I mean, like physically, maybe shaken up, a little headache, and I think more of it's like the head injury stuff, which can be more scary in the fact that it's harder to know how bad it is. Sure. Until like a day later or some of that. So just that's why it's important to have good safety equipment and be belted in tight and stuff like that. So, but I mean, I love it because I'm able to still do it. Like I'm in pain every day from snowcross still, right? And I love the sport. I love what I was able to do and just wasn't able to keep doing it. And in the off-road, it's like I can still get all the same feeling and thrill and all that. And like it costs a little more money, but definitely something I can do longer and definitely pushing my kid to do the 4-wheel route if he'll go for it. He likes the 2-wheel as well, and the snow a lot. He's pretty talented, and as a dad, I want him to be in the 4-wheel with a cage.
Sure.
So right now, if you ask him, he'd pick karting. So which I think will
that's good.
translate into other things. So he's like me. I think he likes the technical side, likes to think about it a little more. Some of that moto and snow is thinking too much can make you slower. And I had years where that was my challenge, was like overthinking it, slowed me down and got into the truck. And then I was it's kind of like the engineering talk I had where it's like at work, I'm the less engineer guy that wants to wing it. And then here I'm the, like
Calculated.
put that drill on that panel, make sure it's 90 degrees when you drill through it, like geeking out over the little stuff. In snowcross, I was the overthinker. And in off-road, I can be the like let it hang out guy.
The more cowboy style.
Yeah. But still have I'm engineer and can still do the setup side. And I think I got a lot of that from the snow side. So it's like I kind of have the best of both worlds. And seeing him, I think like I didn't know that until I got into four wheel at 2017. So he learned it, or 15. He learns it now. He's like, because he does both disciplines, and I think I didn't. I just was all in one and didn't really realize that like there are sports that obviously like stick and ball and stuff. There's different.
Oh goodness, no.
Different things like that where like some you need to just run through a linebacker, and some you got to think about it a little more. But like, but yeah, on the racing side, it's the same. There's different disciplines that need different amount of thinking and kind of that. So seeing what fits them and like knowing that that's an option that you can kind of.
It'd be so funny to see where the 5 kids end up.
Yeah.
Like what are they going to choose, right?
Yeah.
Are they all going to be some sort of like on the wheels sort of thing? Does one pick up bowling, start their own professional darts,
Yeah. And that's the cool thing for me. I think like I grew up in a super competitive family. Like we would get in fights over playing beanbags in the yard, right?
Okay.
Like just no one wanted to lose.
Sure.
And a lot of super competitive people. And my kids are all the same way. Like they are super competitive, and some more than others, but like they all have it. And I think for me as a dad, like I just wanted to pick something. Like it can be bowling, it could be whatever.
Right.
But like I think it's really important to have something to strive for. I think like having
something.
I
wish I was more competitive when I was younger, man.
Yeah. Like I think just having that goal, whether it's to be on the honor roll or whatever it is, like something to chase for. And I think the more the better. Like I am the opposite end of the spectrum where I have too many things going. I'm probably spread a little thin where I could maybe chase a few things harder if I had less, but it's like I love that multiple irons in the fire. And like my wife always says, like if I wasn't stressed, I'd find something to stress me out. Like I just I'm wired that way, and that's how I grew up, and that's how my dad always was. And like just so I think knowing that that's how I'm wired, and my kids, and like wanting them, like they should be pursuing something. And so whether it's racing or not, but yeah, I think I probably don't have a choice. Most of them are probably going to want to race. They already do, most of them.
How does the Red Bull thing happen?
I like looking back at it, it's like right place, right time.
Okay.
Knew the right people.
What year did you start getting associated with them?
I became a Red Bull athlete in 2019.
Okay.
I want to say it was either 2017 or 2018. 2017, I think. We had an event here. It was a Red Bull event. It was a snowmobile race called Snow Boundaries.
Okay.
I was a snowmobile racer. I was just starting in the off-road. And a lot of it's like they kind of try to be like, if they're going to be in a space, they're not going to sponsor half the field. They're kind of they'll pick a guy or two. And like motocross, they sponsor more, but like in snow, they had Levi of the Valley was their guy. So like growing up, I would race against him. It was tougher to be like, well, I'm not gonna like outdo that guy or like pull Red Bull from him. So it was kind of a tougher thing to get sponsored in snowcross. So then I started doing the off-road thing, and I I think I'd already had their attention from that event. Got to know a few of the guys there and like, kind of like connect a few dots.
Is
and
that
then,
like reps or like other racers or?
I would just say like people in marketing and then
Okay.
like I got to know event people from this, and it's similar to Polaris where it's like it's such a big company that people move around a bunch. So some of it was like people that were more in the event stuff got moved to athlete management and kind of knew the right people, and honestly it was the same type of thing where I was talking about just like building that relationship with some of these Polaris engineers where like you get that trust, and like it's not this guy's schmoozing me so I'll sponsor him. Right. It's just like truly got to be friends with some of these guys, and taking them hunting and fishing and doing other things with them, and like just almost to the point where you forget that the Red Bull thing would be awesome.
Yeah, you're just buddies at that point.
Yeah. And then I think opportunities align, and certain people got out of off-road in the Midwest that were Red Bull and stuff like that happened, and they wanted somebody. And I think that coincided when I had a breakout year and kind of had got into the bigger class. And
bigger class being what at that
Pro
point?
2.
Pro 2. Okay.
So I went up from Pro Lite into Pro 2. And
was that self-sponsored at that point, or?
Yeah, I mean, we had some sponsors from snocross that carried over, and then obviously we, kept pitching and had other sponsors. But it's always, even with Red Bull, it's still self-sponsored.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to make it happen, but it's expensive. There's a lot of and I think to push it and be like on that edge of being there to win, like there's maybe one or two guys that are able to kind of do it for a full-time living, and but they're good at like doing just enough to not waste money and kind of keep it going. So but yeah, on the Red Bull side, just a lot of it's not all personality. It's not all how you are on camera or who you are from a marketing side, and it's not all who you are on the track. It's a combination of both. Okay. And I think they just know what's a fit for the brand, and like there's no sponsor deck you send that gets approved. And I think that's like the biggest thing. Like, you got an email that I could like send my resume to your Red Bull guy and like see if I can get sponsored. It's not even how it happens.
Interesting. Okay.
It doesn't happen often. Like, they're not actively searching for a bunch of athletes, I don't think. And
I don't think so. I feel like it's always like, at least when I open social media, it's like a lot of like the same 20 or 30 or however many athletes, like, whatever sport. Like, like I know there was like, I was recently watching like the Red Bull TikTok page, and it's like a break dancer or something. Yeah. Like that. Like,
well, and then in other countries they have, like in Japan, ping pong's huge. So like they'll have a ping pong athlete, and like in America they don't. But like a lot of it's just like what will move the needle, like what are people watching, what's exciting in that country, and they have this tie to 4-wheel and 2-wheel. That's what put them on the map. So they have this like loyalty to that. So like they're sponsoring NFL players and all kinds of other sports that are arguably bigger reach and whatever, but it's like they're kind of loyal to like what put them on the map. And obviously they spend a ton in F1 but like even within other athletes, like I'm really glad I'm 4-wheel, because I think I get a lot of opportunities that other Red Bull athletes don't get either, just because of how much Red Bull pushes 4-wheel compared to other things, and 2-wheel a lot. Like, I think those two disciplines get a ton. So like on the, even how they structure their business, like they have athlete managers that are a lot of times regionally. So like we have a guy that lives in Minneapolis he'll manage a lot of the snow athletes, like Levi and his team. There's a couple snowboarders from Minnesota, hockey player, a college hockey player from Iowa. Like, a lot of it's like regional, so it's not just Minnesota. But like I would technically Oregon regionally under them. And like that's how most athletes are, is like you'll have a guy in your area. But then 4-wheel has has 2 reps that are just North America. If you're
Interesting.
4-wheel, like you'll go under them. So like I can get pulled into like national things where like the regional guys still can, but it'd be like the national Red Bull marketing team would like ping the Midwest guy and be like, hey, we want access to these couple athletes. Like,
that's cool. Okay.
That guy would always work with those athletes though. I kind of get to double dip. Like I'll get pulled for the soapbox race in Iowa to go judge, or, that's all through the regional stuff. But then I'll get to go down to Detroit and do the show run with the F1 car.
How was that, by the way?
Yeah, it was super cool.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, just to get to drive that thing on a city street. I think I hold the record on 4th Street in Minneapolis. I went 120 through the stoplight and caught air. I think I hold the record for the highest speed down 4th Street. But yeah, it was super cool. I mean,
what was that phone call like? Like, hey, we got an idea, or?
That one was like, I think I'd done the one in Houston a couple weeks before and like got news that we were going to do that one. And then it's like, hey, you're going to do one. Like if it goes well, we can maybe have you do a couple other ones. And then I think they saw me do one and they're like, I think it's really cool on asphalt. Like no one kind of would have pegged. I'm like, I knew it would be, but like other people were like, kind of stole the show. So they're like, yeah, I'm like, what other ones can you go to? I'm like, that was really fun. I'll go to all of them or whatever.
And you ended up doing all of them?
That year, yeah. This year they got in like Ford's kind of funding a lot of them, and they kind of get to pick. I'm not a factory Ford driver. Obviously, we have a Ford engine and stuff, but like they kind of pick their vehicles. So haven't got to do as much this year with it, but yeah, hoping that can change. They're pretty fun. I mean, they had 50,000 people in front of the U.S. Bank.
That's pretty sweet.
The last time they did one down there, and like from the driver perspective, it's like pretty easy going, right? Like there's no stress. Like
you're not racing, nothing. Just
don't do anything stupid. So even from the vehicle, like we turn the timing down, and like you can even at 800 horse.
I was
like
gonna say,
it still does stupid things. So on asphalt, so yeah, you just bump the tire pressure up and turn it down a little bit, make it a little safer, and it would be really cool. I'd love to build one. I think my goal, like someday, I want to build a chassis with like a turbo LS or like something that's like not high strung, needs to get rebuilt every couple.
Get yourself a Coyote.
Yeah, something. Yeah. But I've drawn a couple up in CAD and found some. Found a Coyote CAD model and plopped it in there, and I'd like to make a 2-seat one. Like it'd be
like a 2-seat.
One of that 2-seat that I could give rides in, because that's the thing. It's like the trophy truck guys get to give people rides, or like I could take my rep at Red Bull for a ride and blow their mind, right? But like in this, it's like I'm the only one that gets to know what it's like, and yeah, it'd be cool.
It's kind of like Von Gin's the Bronco, whatever.
Exactly.
I think it was so cool.
Yeah, really cool. It's got like the cab and stuff too. Yeah, the minute I saw that, I'm like, yeah, that would be it.
That thing was insane. And I had the opportunity to ride with him at SEMA, like at that little drift thing. And it's like I'm with Vaughn in his Mustang, and then it's like this Bronco just ripping. Right?
Yeah.
Just on these like 37, 38 inches.
Yeah, I think it has 37.
Stupid.
Yeah, like the sidewalls all flexed over. Yeah. Yeah, and like these they're a lot lighter than that thing is too. Like that's got all their KOH suspension on it, which I mean it's sweet stuff, but like this would do circles around that thing. Just not that thing's not impressive, but just like
just build wise.
I think it's people don't realize it, like how, and like they can do it on dirt in like rough conditions. So then like where else they can drive is like wild. Like that's why I like talking about like how fast we got to go down 4th Street. Like the F1 car, they had it like what they say, like 40 millimeters higher than it would race just to clear the manhole covers and like all this. But it's still like very low.
Yeah, 40 millimeters. That's a lot when you think about it.
Yeah, they're like jacking the thing way up just to not rip the wing off. And like, or like Mad Mike had that McLaren rotary at the one video we did in Houston. It was like an older asphalt track, MSR down in Houston. And like he would like hit the crown of the road wrong. And the frame would like slide, the tires would come off the ground, and he would like lose control because he's
is that the 4-car race one?
Yeah, yeah, because he's like so low, and like they're driving me through a swamp, and like just like what limits me is like so little compared to some of those other cars.
That was a cool video. I was watching it on the way over here too. Yeah, I saw it a few years ago, but whenever it launched. But
so it's cool to like kind of be able to look at anything and be like, could you drive on that? And like Red Bull asked me, like, you think you could do that? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Like, no problem. So
is there like limited liability forms? Like, hey, if you agree to this stunt sort of deal, or have you done many stunts, I guess?
Got to do a couple. Yeah. A lot of it's like these videos, like that one. There's one coming out. Can't give too much information on it, but yeah, there's more coming like that.
This year at least, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it's funny. I think if you're a Red Bull athlete, like you're usually there because you think that way already. Like you want to do something out there, and like, there's really no coaxing. It's not like, oh man, please. Like, it would be really cool. Like, you should jump your truck. I'm like, hey, like we should jump over the F1 car. And they're like, oh, that's
there to
like, we'd have to like get that approved and this and that. I'm like, watch me jump this. I'm 16 feet in the air and that thing's 2 feet tall. Like, I'm clear. And they're like, oh, it wasn't in like the risk assessment when we like pitched this. Like, they have like a risk assessment.
That's kind of funny given like
it's like
what
a worst case, best case, like what does it look like? And then like if someone got killed because a Pro 4 jumped an F1 car and that wasn't in the risk assessment, like
that's a problem.
It goes back to the Polaris talk. Like that Red Bull guy would lose his job. And a lot of them, it's not worth losing their dream job over.
No, I get it.
So like, I'm all like, come on, and they're just trying to keep their job. So a lot of it's, if you plan it right, like it's cool because they're down for anything. For the most
I saw
part.
a comment on one of the videos when I was, preparing for this episode, and it's like, oh yeah, Red Bull. By the way, we sell drinks too.
Yeah, I see that one all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, yeah. Or it's like, I'm not like, the minute I saw Red Bull on this post, I wasn't surprised by anything, or like, it's just like people.
That's how you know it's not AI.
Yeah. People just expect it. But
what's the farthest jump you've done? Would you even know?
Probably 200-ish.
Okay.
In the truck. Yeah. Yeah, you can go 200 here. Which is pretty crazy.
What's your favorite track?
I like racing here a lot.
Okay.
Crandon's pretty fun too.
Did you grow up here?
Yep, right in Elk River. So, but yeah, I don't know. I have this Ryan Dungy, another Minnesota guy. He's a pro motocross racer. Like growing up, he was my favorite guy, and he has this interview one time. They're asking him, what's your favorite track? Like, do you like it when it's muddy or dry or whatever? And he's like, whatever it is currently is my favorite. And like, I kind of like adopted that. And I think the mind is so powerful, and if you're stoked on it, you'll push harder. So I kind of do that, like whether it's a mud race or some track I don't like being at or whatever. Like,
what track don't you like being at?
I like them all because I've had
the mind is so powerful. Damn,
I've had success at the ones that everyone else hates.
Yeah,
and now that's my favorite, right? Like,
do you like being in the mud? Is that more difficult?
And I think a lot of it's because of that mindset.
Okay.
Like there's nothing particular about the mud that I like. I think being from Minnesota versus some of these guys from California and stuff, like they don't get to experience it as much. I think it's just
They get rain once a decade.
yeah, we go rip around the field in 4-wheelers when it's muddy and have fun and do it and whatever. Or, like growing up, that was just, it's like a kid thing to do, right?
Yeah.
Go right around the mud. So, yeah, and I think like my dad growing up was always probably more like how I am. Like he's just intentional with how he thinks about racing. It's not just like go do it, but like we would, if it rained and we were gonna go to the moto track, like we wouldn't pack up and go home. We would go ride still, and like because it might be like that on race day, was always like what he would say. So a piece of it's just like everyone's got the same conditions. If you hate it less than everyone, like it's a huge advantage. Yeah. So track wise, like it is affected because I don't even think about what my favorite track is. I like here because it's,
you're just ready to go racing.
I sleep in my own bed. Yeah. It's nice, but like there's pieces of Crandon I like more and pieces of these other tracks, but usually I'm just excited to race and get out there. And I think it's not like football where it's like the stadium doesn't affect it, right? Like where we go affects the event, right? So it's like the minute we complete a race, like the goal is the next track, like how we set the car up, everything. Like that's like you're just short memory of like sprint to that next goal. Right. And then once we get there, then it's like, hey, what's the next one? And then it's kind of, and even in the off season, it's like, I feel like I always do well at the first races of the year. And I think a piece of it is I have like the whole off season
just to think,
and I just like mega prepare for that race, right? Like obviously I'm thinking of the season too, but it's like the first race of the year is the one that you visualize the most, right? Like in the whole off season.
That makes sense.
So
what do you want to get behind the wheel of next? Anything?
Oh man. Yeah. The off-road, like it kind of ruins you because it's all the horsepower and it's like get to do all the cool stuff with it. I did some drifting this summer. That was something I wanted to
like
try.
Up at Brainerd or USA or?
Yeah, at the Octane Fest. Went up there.
Oh, yeah. Yep, I saw that, yeah.
Brought the Pro 2 up there. And I found out, like, I really liked drifting the Pro 2 because I'm just really comfortable in an off-road truck. But, like, I think I would like... the more I did it, I think I would get used to it and, like, understand the car control. But it was a lot more... It was just a lot different than I thought it would be as far as like the balance of the car and stuff like that. And I found out I think I can adapt easier in 4-wheel drive. Like 2-wheel drive I don't drive it as much anymore just because everything we race is 4-wheel. So like in the 4-wheel, like there's just a difference in like if you bust all the tires loose and you drive it really aggressively, it doesn't really matter what's under the tire. Like the handling characteristics are the same. Like whether you're sliding on asphalt or on dirt or whatever. So like the inputs that you need to get it to do what you want it to do are the same.
That makes sense.
And 2-wheel changes like with grip level. Like difference between two-wheel off-road racing and drifting, like it's vastly different. Like so I think kind of finding out like I'm not in my teens where I want to like pick up a new hobby and like fully adapt my skill set to it. So long story short, I think 4-wheel drive stuff, right? Like where I can hop in it and kind of go. And I've got to kind of drive my bucket list ones of rally car and off-road. Like I think some of the Baja stuff would be cool, but it's so foreign. It's not accessible. And I think like a lot of the reasons I did well at off-road was because I had access to practice and work hard and like
it'd be a whole different world.
Be a student of it. And it's like I got to drive to Mexico to kind of be a student of that, right? So like so far away geographically. I think I've done that style of racing on snowmobiles, like the distance racing, done 500-mile races and stuff like that. And I like the change of like, this is a marathon type of thing. And like, it's fun, the reward of like making it through all that, even if you're not winning, like just completing it is fun and stuff like that. But I definitely like racing the same track, like coming around to familiar territory. And like I think a big piece of what I like in off-road is like being able to dissect it better than other people. And I think you can lose some of that with that like point-to-point racing where it's new territory and stuff. I don't know. I think like just driving anything, like just more. I think it goes to that like I like to be uncomfortable. Like got to hop in like Cody Buchanan's drift car at Octane Fest and like didn't want to drive it, but like loved being in it and like being terrified of like coming into the first turn really, really fast and like having that like panic of like I can't get out of this vehicle, so I gotta just ride it out and like feel it and just like that. So I think the more I think I just chase that feeling, like whether it's in a go-kart or a whatever.
All right, we're not gonna see you in Gravedigger anytime soon.
I wouldn't say no. No. It's 4-wheel drive, checks the boxes.
Yeah, 1,500 horsepower, whatever.
No,
it is.
it'd be cool. And honestly, it's like whatever I see that I haven't driven, I'm like we went to a NASCAR race in Iowa. It's the first one I ever went to, and I'm like, I would do that. That looks fun.
Have you been in one of the what was the one that's like I watched a Travis Pastrana video, whatever, I forgot what his channel name was, but I watched it a few months ago. It was like the one thing that he was like terrified to go drive. I think it was like
was it a wing sprint car?
Yeah. Have you driven one of those yet?
I haven't driven a wing sprint car. I've driven a sprint car.
Okay.
And then I've driven its more terrifying brother, the midget, like a midget car. It's like a scaled down sprint car. And that would be something. It doesn't check the 4-wheel drive box, but they did the Chili Bowl in Tulsa. It's just it's like the largest freestanding columnless building in North America. They used to do like the oil driller like convention there. So it's like this massive building that they'd put all these big things in, but they put a big dirt oval in it. I think it's in February.
Interesting.
It's in Tulsa.
I'm going to watch a video on that.
Kyle Larson, all like a bunch of NASCAR guys all go run it. And it's like, you get like 500 some racers.
Yeah. That sport's getting big too.
Yeah.
Just, I feel like dirt's, I don't know, maybe I'm just an outsider, but I heard that it's like, it's also rapidly expanding. Is that true?
Yeah. I have no feel for that.
Okay.
I feel like, I think I hear like racing in general is down, like harder to get sponsors. There's less support from OEMs, this and that. Like, I know like NASCAR's not doing great compared to what it used to be and stuff like that. But like, I think a piece of it is like, there's more motorsports too than there used to be. Oh, so it might be like the money is the same. It's just like, it's just spread out. You're dividing your money between more children, or, you know what I mean? It's just like, that type of thing.
Well, you can't watch it all, right? Like F1, and you got IMSA, then you got like if you want to go watch grassroots stuff like Grid Life, it's never ending. Right?
Well, I think the like major killer is like the same thing happens, but with just every sport and hobby, and it's like everyone continually just wants more of what they like, and it's like it's harder to get fans to come because like in the 90s, like what were you gonna do on a weekend? Like there was a list of things. That list is probably way bigger now.
So much
bigger.
Right?
Like, so to pull someone on a Saturday to have them come sit on a hill and watch us race here, it's tougher. It's like tougher to get that. I think we get these TikTok mindsets where it's like we want the next exciting thing and we're just scrolling, and like I've seen festivals do good where they bring like multiple exciting things in, right? Like you got to have nonstop action for people and bring them in, and like
Octane Fest. Are you gonna be at the next one, by the way?
I don't think so. I think I got a conflict on that one.
Okay.
But I think those are probably growing, and like because I think they check that box of like there's just so much going on, and like no one could go there and be bored.
Sure. Like there's something for everybody.
Yeah, and I think like that's what you see with like these Grid Lives and like some of these like LS Fest and stuff like that, where it's like large groups. People look for one big event a year to go to, and I think it's probably trying to think of a way to like apply that in off road. I think would be cool. Like I think it needs something.
Is there
like
anything
that
like
to
that?
kind of no. I mean, Crandon's big.
Closest thing.
They'll have Kid Rock come play or Kiss
Sure.
or like they pull 50,000 people.
Okay.
And it is that like festival. Like they'll do KOH or they'll have like the Ultra 4 guys come and like a bunch of other series will like bolt onto it. Like they're having Rallycross at it.
That makes it so much more fun to watch.
Rallycross is there this year, and like I think they're realizing like it needs to, but I think like Crandon already was that festival. They're just adapting. It's like I think we need more of that. Like, yeah,
I got the bug. I went to an IMSA race at Road America for my birthday, and it was my first time at an IMSA race. And it's like there was something always on the track. They had so many different types of series.
Yeah,
and it's super sick. I don't want to keep you too much longer. I think we're hitting about 2 hours here. So I have one last question for you. And it goes like this. At the end of every episode, I like to ask my guests to pick 3 cars. You have an unlimited budget. You have to pick a daily driver, a track car, and a show car. What 3 are you picking? Any kind of track.
Track car, GT2RS.
Okay. Have you driven one yet?
My dad has one.
Nice. Okay.
And I am terrified of it.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It is.
It's because it's not 4-wheel drive.
No, it's just one of those things. It's like I get behind the wheel of it. I've only driven it once, and I'll like drive it, and I'm like, I'm nowhere near the limit, and I don't know that I want to be because like of where like I'm going 90 through a country road corner, and I'm nowhere near the limit. Like it doesn't feel in reach, and like I feel like by the time I got there, I'd be past my comfort zone.
Right.
But yeah, love to. I've been trying to get him to take that thing to a track.
Yeah.
At some point, because I've heard they are a riot.
Track monster.
Yeah. I feel like the daily, because I got to bring the kids to school, probably have to be a wagon.
A wagon. Okay.
I think like a Audi RS6 would be sweet.
Okay.
I
appreciate all your choices so far.
I can do the winter deal too. I'd have to winter drive it, you know?
Yeah, those are awesome. I got to drive one this year.
Put some snow tires on it. They check the box from the visual perspective for sure. I was thinking about this because I had a feeling you were going to ask me this one. The show car is tough. I feel like I need some V8 representation. American. So I want to go like GT 500 maybe.
Ooh. Wait, which generation?
Probably the old one.
Like we're talking like 60s or are you talking like
the Le Mans, like Ford versus Ferrari era.
Okay. Sure.
But also a GTD would be pretty cool too, but that's more of the track car.
Wait, do you mean GT 500 or
GTD.
GT? Like you mean like the supercar one? Or
yeah,
oh,
like
yeah, GT.
It's like the competitor to the GT2RS.
Okay.
The Ford's Nürburgring car.
No, I meant when you said the GT 500. Did you mean GT 500 or the GT? Like the supercar?
Yeah, the supercar.
Oh, the one that actually competed
like
at
the
Le Mans.
Le Mans car.
Gotcha. Ooh, so having been around the GTD and a GT replica, dude, I don't know, the GT replica, like, or even a real GT.
Yeah, I don't feel like they're in the same category from like a show car. Obviously,
Yeah,
like the
it's
GTD is
insanity.
not a show car, but
it's still cool.
it is very cool. I saw one on the road for the very first time.
It's massive.
Yeah, and they're just like
It's probably wider
it's
than your
still
truck.
Mustang, but it's like I've never like snapped my head around for a Mustang like that before.
Right.
But yeah,
So are you locking in GTD?
no, I gotta go GT.
GT?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. That was probably one of the scariest things I was in. I can't remember who it was, but it's like
The GTD or the GT?
GT.
Yeah.
Because it was like it's a replica of the 67 or whatever.
Okay.
Like almost the exact, like you can get them for like $250,000 or whatever.
Yeah, only a quarter.
And yeah, only a quarter compared to like the millions for the real one.
Oh yeah.
But I think what did it have? It had a Roush Yates engine in the back.
Is there a dude that's like rebuilding them or he's like making the replicas of them.
Yeah. So here's the weird thing: is like the body or the shell comes from like South Africa.
Yep.
As like a kit,
Yep.
but then like there's a couple rebuilders.
Yeah. So my engine builder built those. So it has a RY45, same motor as this.
Down in North Carolina, or no?
Well, maybe this is different then.
Okay.
So I know there was a guy who bought a bunch of shells of them. He bought like all the remaining chassis and was gonna rebuild them all.
Yep.
And yeah, Roush built the engines for him.
Yeah.
And I got photos of them because they were rebuilding mine like right next to it.
Yeah.
And they were joking because they had the forced induction like intercooler on the top. And they're like, we could just bolt one of these on yours, and like, you know, just joking. But I'm like, what is that going in? And then they were like, I remember hearing the South Africa deal. Like they bought all the. There's probably only so many guys doing that.
I think it's like officially labeled too or whatever.
It's
like
probably the same guy.
Yeah.
It has to be.
There's some. Yeah. Those are super cool.
Yeah, but I had photos of one of those engines, and I was like, yeah, that would be very rowdy. I mean, they're insane. NA like. Yeah.
The sound it makes isn't probably the same, probably.
Yeah,
but,
boosted. Probably. Yeah.
Where can everybody find you?
Instagram, Andrew Carlson 15. We're on YouTube too. Trying to put more out there. Probably in the next year, trying to be picking more stuff up on YouTube. All the major platforms. But yeah, come out to a race.
When's the next race out here?
We do one a year. It's in July. It's usually the weekend after the 4th.
Okay.
But yeah, I would just say like the off-road stuff, that's how I got into it. I went and watched a race and I was hooked. Like it's one of those things like you have to see it in person. Like it's so hard to explain, or even TV just doesn't do it justice. So usually it's like once we get people out, they're hooked. So yeah, I would say if any of you haven't watched one, come check them out.
Okay.
It's a fun time.
Sweet. Well, thank you for making this happen, man. A year in the making, technically.
Yeah.
And thank you everybody for listening, and we'll see y'all next time.
Yeah. Thank you.